Hey guys, how's it going? Today I'm working on some mortise and tenons. Depending on the project that I'm doing, I tend to use probably 3 to 4 different ways of delivering a tenon. The one I'm going to focus on today is called a bandsaw tenon. Using a shim and a bandsaw to deliver the width, the thickness of the tenon, and the rest will be done on the table saw as far as the shoulders go. So I'm going to show you a couple of techniques that you might find helpful and hopefully will help you to make a successful tenon. Okay guys, so first of all, I'm going to decide where this tenon's going and figure out the offset, so the height that my blade needs to go. This is a 1/2 inch thick, so I've already figured out what I need, and I'm basically going to come to a stop on the table saw, and that's going to help me deliver that shoulder cut. So deliver this nice crisp shoulder cut all the way around. One tip I'd like to point out, I notice, and I've definitely had this in the past, as you do that shoulder cut and you're going around on the table saw, when you get to that last one, the two cuts don't line up. There's a lot of variables going on here. If your sled's not square, obviously that's going to be a problem. If this original cut that you did isn't square, then all these things add up. What I found that helps too is, instead of coming to like a block of wood like this, and you bring this whole thing up against it, as you go around, if these two things are a little off square, that's not going to help. So instead, if you put a screw, I've got a little dome head screw here as a stop, and now I'm going to reference up against that screw as I go around, and that tends to help give you a more successful shoulder cut all the way around. Another quick thing I wanted to point out, I have a lot of students ask me when we do tenons, what's wrong with setting up the stop to the far end and then coming like so and going around doing the tenons. I mean, that works as long as all your rails are the same, that's fine. Now what I found that helps work better for this is you do an outboard stop. So now I'm setting this point here to my shoulder cut off the blade to deliver me my 1 inch long tenon. A lot of times in projects, the tenons can be the same length, so you could have 3 to 4 different rails. All the tenons are the same, but the rails are different lengths. So if these rails are different lengths, then you're going to continuously move this back and forth, and that's not very efficient, and it's not very accurate. So instead, set up your outboard stop like so, and that's going to deliver me my 1 inch tenon. No matter how long this row is, this is going to be 1 inch, and that's what I'm looking for. Okay guys, I'm going to get ready now. I'm going to set up these offsets to cut the shoulders. So I basically need to set up the height of my blade. So I'm going to do that first, and then I'm going to set up the length of the tenon. So you can get all kinds of gauges and different fancy tools to do this. Just a block of wood is what I use. I'll scribe out my line. So this is about a 1/4 inch line that you need in this particular case. And I'm going to bring this to my blade. I'm going to lower this down until I'm just hitting that line. And I can go a little bit deeper. Preferably I like to go a little deeper. That way, if I have 30 tenons to do, I'm not going back in with a chisel and cleaning that edge up. Another thing to point out, I do not have a flat bottom blade here. I just haven't changed it out. This will work just fine, but if you do have a flat bottom blade, that definitely works better in this situation. Alright, so we've got our height. Now I need to mark out the length, so it's 1 inch tenon in this case. My mortise is 1 inch deep, so I'm actually going to set this about a 64th less. So, a little mark there. Bring this down. Now I'm going to line up to the tooth that's pointing in that direction. Alright, that looks pretty good. I'm going to bring in my stop. lock it down. Another cool thing about this screw, I don't particularly use this that often, but if you need to make a fine adjustment, you can definitely get in there and you can just move it back and forth to just fine tune that if you need. So as you can see, the shoulder lines up all the way around. Okay, so now we're going to go to the bandsaw and we're going to waste away these cheeks. The reason it's called a bandsaw tenon is because, like I said, we're going to use the bandsaw. But we're going to use a shim too, and this is kind of the most important thing as far as dialing in the fit for the thickness. So the way this works is we're going to locate where we want the first cut to go. My face will always be out. I'm going to make one cut, remove the shim, and make the next cut. And that will deliver a perfect fit for that 1/2 inch mortise that we're doing. Now the way you dial in that fit, as far as the shim goes, the shim is basically the thickness of your tenon plus the curve of your blade. So the curve is referring to when you make a cut, you measure what that cut took away, how much wood it removed, and that's your curve. So in this case, it's about a 1/16. So my shim for a 1/2 inch thick tenon is 9/16. And the cool thing with this, once you have it, you just hang it up on the wall and just refer to it next time you need it. Works really well. So I already have it marked for where I want to set this up. So I'm going to go ahead and check that, and that looks pretty good. I'm doing it to the tooth that's pointing towards the fence. So I'm cutting away the waist and not the actual tenon. And now I should be good to go. So you just want to be firm up against this fence. We're going to make one cut, put the shim in, and we're going to make the next cut. Okay, so obviously we just cut the cheeks, waste the cheeks away, and you always want to make a test piece. So this is my test piece. I'm going to try this fit, start it in. Yeah, so I can tell that's nice. So what I'm looking for, I can lift this up, it's not falling out, it shouldn't be sloppy. So that worked really well. Yeah, so that's good. Now I'm just going to take this tenon to the final width, and since this tenon is centered in this rail, I'm just going to set it up to my mark and do a flip-flop to take care of that. Okay guys, so now it's time to basically fit this square tenon into this round hole. So I need to put the radius on the corners. Instead of me chiseling out each one of these, which would take forever, I'm going to go ahead and do a little setup here that works really well. So basically I know this is a 1/2 inch thick, so the radius bit that I need in here is a 1/4 inch. And that gives us this nice 1/2 inch radius. When we're done, that gives us this nice fit. So this is what we're trying to do. This is what we're looking for. So the way this works is I have this sacrificial fence, obviously with a hole in it, so I could raise this bit above the table. And the height is right where that radius begins. I can fine tune that up and down. So let me bring it way up. You see, so right where the radius starts into that swoop, I'm going to bring that down to this surface. Alright, that looks pretty good. I'm gonna lock that. And now I just come in here, bring this along and cut that. And that, you know, on a longer tenon it works even better because it gives you more surface that it's removed. But what that will do, if you're doing 30, 40, 50 of these guys, it gives you a good resting point for your chisel to finish out the rest, because it's not going to do all of it. It'll leave a little bit here in the corner. So I'm going to set up and do that and let you guys see. Alright, I've got the height set where I want it to be. Turn it on. So as you can see, it's giving me the radius that I need. And you know, this is the part I said it will leave, but now my chisel will rest off this to help clean this up real quick. And this guy was designed to go down here, so let's have a look if it starts. Yeah, so that's pretty good. So now I'm going to take it to the bench. I'm going to turn this into this. Alright, so now I've taken it to my bench and I'm just going to clean up the rest of this radius. So it's pretty simple, just set it down. It gives you a nice guide to do so. That's some pretty gnarly grain right there. Doing this a little backwards, backhanded, so that you guys can see this. Alright, now just a little bit of sandpaper. Get in there. Gotta be real careful not to hit these shoulders as you're doing this, because this is what's going to be seen. Basically, there's your bandsaw tenon. It works really well. Now time to actually test it, but looks good. Okay, so the moment of truth, does it fit? Well, that looks pretty good. The shoulders are nice and tight all the way around, and it does not want to come out easily. So with a little glue on that, this thing's going to last for generations. So there you go, bandsaw tenon. Okay, so that was a bandsaw tenon. I hope you enjoyed the videos, and if you did, if you found them useful and you maybe learned something from it, which is kind of my goal, spread the word, tell your friends, and I hope to get more videos out on YouTube soon, and I really appreciate it. Cheers, have a good one.